Robert, one of my favourite callers, a young man, a young boy in Peterhead in Scotland. He's on the line. Robert, welcome back to the show.
Hi George, it's good to talk to you again.
And I hope you're going to come and see me in Aberdeen when I talk there in November.
I definitely will, I've already got tickets.
You've got tickets, excellent.
Yep.
Go ahead then, Robert.
Well, I think, as well as many people watching this will think, well, the Syrian government agreeing to destroy their chemical weapons is wonderful news. I don't think the Western leadership are taking into focus the scale of such an operation. I mean, Syria has 1,000 tons of chemical weapons spread across 50 locations, according to French intelligence, although I don't trust them. And that is a lot of territory to cover, and UN inspection teams are not as well prepared to neutralise that many weapons in the middle of a war zone. It would require more than 100 experts accompanied by special forces, and the inspectors would likely be targeted by the Al-Nusra Front and other rebel factions.
Well, that's a good point, Robert. I mean, who's going to require of Al-Qaeda that they don't attack the United Nations experts that are going about their business? The countries, surely, that are paying Al-Qaeda. So why don't we have a resolution at the United Nations demanding that the countries who pay for Al-Qaeda give guarantees that Al-Qaeda will not kill the United Nations inspectors?
And if the rebels want to assure a United States strike on Syria, they're not going to want the UN showing up to neutralise those agents. And look at Libya. In 2004, Libya signed the Chemical Weapons Convention and began to destroy their chemical weapons. It's been 9 years, and Libya's stockpile has only been 40% neutralised. And Syria has many more tons of chemical weapons in Libya, so it would take much longer. Different substances require different neutralisation methods. Sarin requires sodium hydroxide to be rendered harmless, and Syria has a vast arsenal of chemical weapons, including sarin gas, VX gas, mustard gas. And what countries do you think are going to contribute most to the destruction of these weapons?
And which countries sold them these weapons in the first place?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia and the United Kingdom. Robert in Peterhead, just 14 years young, with the wisdom of a statesman. Thanks, Robert. See you in Aberdeen. Mahmoud.